I figured I'd take care of some business for a while.
Yeah. Since we were waiting on. Good morning, everyone. I would like to call to order the Pasco County Board of County Commission meeting of March 12th, 2019. I would like to remind everyone at this time to please silence all electronic devices. This time, I would like to ask all to please rise for the invocation and pledge.
Please bow your heads. O merciful Creator, your hand is open wide to satisfy the needs of every living creature. Make us thankful for your loving providence and grant that we, remembering the account that we must one day give, may be faithful stewards of your good gifts. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
District 2, Commissioner Moore.
Here.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Here.
District 4, Commissioner Wells. District 5, Commissioner Mariano.
Here.
District 1, Chairman Oakley.
Here.
Thank you.
Now is the time for public comment. Citizens are given an opportunity to comment on any item coming before the board during this public comment section. The board also takes comments to the place in the future board agenda and other business under their purview. Public comment for public hearing items will be taken today individually during public hearings beginning at 1:30 p.m. Individuals speaking during public comment will be given 3 minutes to speak. After stating your name and your address for the clerk, the timer will start a countdown. After 2 minutes, one beep will sound and the light on the timer will change from green to yellow, letting you know that there's only 1 minute remains. After the time is up, 2 beeps will sound, the light will turn from yellow to red, indicating that 3 minutes are up and you need to close your comments. The following people have
Yes,
signed
Mr.
up.
Chairman, we have 3 people signed up, Vicki Chelberg, Rick Morrow, and Bill Weiser. If you could get line up in order, that'd be great. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Name and address, please.
I'm sorry.
Name and address, please.
Vicki Chalberg, 8636 Gold Pine Drive, Port Richey. Vicki Chalberg and my son Richard Morrow here to address yet another issue about my house at 8636 Gold Pine Drive. My parents built this house in 1985 and I inherited it in 2006. It is our family home, and I'm very well aware of the lift station and the issues surrounding it. If you read the email I sent, you're aware of the stakes I found in my rear yard that are inconsistent with my plat of survey. As I have now been told, changes are planned for the lift station that sits at the very rear of the property in the easements of my neighbor's property. As I said in my letter, I have no issues with changes to the lift station, whether it's about installing new components or a fence. I also say it probably should have been fenced since the homes were constructed. My issue is that there is no concern about removing landscaping that is not on the easement, but is clearly on my property. I'm concerned that no effort is being done to keep landscaping between the lift station and our homes so we don't have to look at it. I was told on the phone from Pasco's Ed Gribble that it would look much better fenced. I told him, I'm telling you now, no one wants to look out the rear picture window of their house and see a chain link fence with black slats on it. Care needs to be taken so that the lift station is just as hidden from view after the work is done as it is now, and not with tiny little plantings, but with the mature plantings that are there now. I believe the lift station could be fenced now without removing much vegetation. From the front view of the homes, there are plantings that cover it, but from the back, it's clearly visible and accessible from the golf course property. Ed Gribble also said there was a need for new communication equipment. I told him, and I'm saying to you, that there is an entire golf course property to house whatever. The construction does not need to branch to one side or the other of the lift station. Surely you can move behind the lift station if need be, or onto the golf course property. I know there is a 10-foot easement at the rear of my property, but that same rear easement is on everyone's property to allow access. It's not there to allow construction of anything that adds a horrible view to the home. I understand I do not need to be consulted to make repairs to the lift station or to service it. I'm not an idiot, but I do question how Pasco can order a survey on my property for a project you intend to do in the easement and somehow have stakes erroneously put all over my property without even contacting me to inform me of what you're planning on doing. A note on the door or a note mailed to me to call Ed Gribble and his phone number to discuss the upcoming project is too difficult. You are the county and you control the lift station in the easement, but I am the homeowner and should be given some amount of consideration since I bought the property and paid taxes on the property. That surely should count for something. I understand there was a huge group of people looking at the lift station after I sent my letter. I hope it will help.
Thank you for your comments. State your name and address,
Hi,
please.
how are you? Richard Morrow, 8636 Gold Pine Drive, Port Richey, Florida.
Okay.
The surveyor's stakes were as absurd as the design of the golf course project. The project has worked to eliminate water, but has left the area behind Gold Pine Drive disgusting to look at and has made it a major issue when attempting to sell this house. The removal of all vegetation and trees took away the chance for it to even ever have a park-like look. I am concerned that the lift station area will be razed to the ground, just like the area behind Gold Pine Drive was, and left as desolate and deplorable as that area now looks. As my mom said in her letter, the Gold Pine Drive residents got the very dirty end of the stick on this project. My father and my mother have had to move because of health issues my mom was experiencing from the contaminated dirt. We just had our house for sale for 3 months and received all great reviews about layout, condition, upgrades, amenities, and the price. But all negatives referred to the rear view from the house. My mom was asked, what the hell is all that stuff? Is it ever going to look any better? Who made such an atrocious mess? These comments should make you all proud of the project. Here's a photo taken to show the view behind the house after the fence came down. You can see the grass area on the mountain is deplorable too. Here's a photo of the lift station access road. When we were promised landscaping at a meeting with the county, we were told that there would be landscaping put alongside the road to block the view of the road from the houses. Then we heard it was to go on homeowner property. Since the lift station access road is an aerial act and is much, much, much higher than the property line, something else you have all refused to fix. Landscaping on the homeowner's properties won't help much until the plants get huge. The aerial act will be visible over the top of the plants if placed on homeowner's property, just like the aerial act of seeing the trucks moving along on top of the 6-foot fence. Please use some common sense and revisit this issue. Put the landscaping where it belongs, beside the elevated lift station access road. The final issue is that my father died after fighting with all of you over a year here, and everyone was going to help us, but no one did. Then we watched from the other house, hoping something would happen, but it didn't. He went to his grave upset and angry about this project, and that can never be fixed. I hope that also makes you proud of yourselves on the project. Just get involved now to stop more desecration behind the house. We're at the point where I think only a judge can make you see reason. If that is what needs to happen, then that's where we'll go, because we are done.
All right, thank you for your comments. Who does this fall under? Is it Mike Abala or utilities, or is it?
Chairman, we're working on it.
Are you working
With
on
the district
okay.
commissioner, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Right.
they did. They came
Okay.
back out and put stakes again.
All right, thank you for your comments.
And sorry for your loss.
Next one.
This is, Mr. Weiser?
Bill Weiser, 7802 Firestone Way, Beacon Woods. My question is, we've been promised that the Pebble Beach resurfacing project was voted on last year, I believe in August, and we were told that work was going to start in November, maybe the first part of December. We haven't heard a word about what's going on. We've made numerous attempts to get, any words of wisdom as to when things might happen. We hear there's a new contract coming up. We don't know where, if this contract is signed, where we will fall in after that. Will we get started right away, or is there going to be another year delay? Part of Pebble Beach was opened up so that stormwater could come in and make a correction. They did a great job in doing this, but that where they cut the road in, where they crossed the road there, is still open gravel. They were hoping to have this done just before paving. That worked out great, but of course, the paving contractors haven't shown up yet. So we're just trying to get some answers.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. I believe that contract had to be rewritten on our paving.
It's on the board
So
agenda
it's on
today.
here today, and then after that, then we'll know in a few days where that falls in line. So if you check back with us, we'll
Well,
have an answer.
Branford can connect with him right now, and
Branford?
they
Okay.
can give him a rough schedule of when that would be done. But we'll do it outside, so we can keep going.
All right, thank you.
Good
Anyone
morning.
else to speak?
Yes, good morning. My name is Hazel Wells, and I live 20542 Mickens Circle, Trilby, Florida. And this is who I am.
A motion?
Motion to receive and file. Second.
I got a motion and a second to receive and file. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
That just says something about my new charitable organization that I have, and it's nonprofit. And it was put together by attorney.
No, it's
We
not
can't,
working.
we can't hear you.
It's not working?
Not working.
The speakers are not working, the mic's working, they can record it, but the
Can't-
speakers
no
in the
speakers.
room are not working. There was some damage done in the
Can you
storm.
speak a little louder?
Oh, I'll try.
Okay.
This says something about my new charitable organization, it's nonprofit 205. It was put together by David Murphy, attorney here in Dade City years ago. And I'm just trying to reorganize it. And first of all, I'd like to tell you a story about two women. One woman had her house, and she had no furniture, no beds for the children. And another woman came along and saw the lady crying. And the other lady had transportation, she had furniture, so they moved together with their families, their children. And they became one big family. And I was one of those women. I had the transportation. And we are still friends, and the children are still friends, and we are all one big family. And that's been over 40 years ago. And I related that story to you to tell you about the Trilby Center, the community center in Trilby. It's one big building, and it's rotting down, and it's in very need of repair. And children have been flocking to me and coming to my house, and they want to know how to sew, how to cook, and they want to know how to crochet. And I learned all this in school in home economics. And I'd like to ask the commission to help revise the community center there in Trilby. And it's very dangerous, the back porch where the bathroom is, all of that, the ramp and all of that has rotted down. So it's in very need of repair. And what I could do, I could put together a program with arts and crafts, because I love arts and crafts. And since they're coming to my house, and my house is very small, this would be the perfect answer to, oh, my 2 minutes up?
You still got a minute.
Oh, this would be the perfect answer for these children. And I could teach them how to set a table, how to make soup, which I do and give to the poor and the hungry, which I did a lot in 2012. And we can learn proper etiquette with the children. And that's my request for the commissioners this morning. And in turn of that, I've given them books and clothes and food, and I just want to help make the children a better people for in life, and do something with them and change their lives as my life has been changed. I love working in the community, and I love leaving a legacy for the community.
All right, thank you for your comments. And I think you know also that we have a committee with Alan Wickett and another group. Senator Simpson's part of it, Gus Billarakis is part of it. Myself, I've been part of that meeting, and we're working on getting something done in that area. So we'll be trying to do the best we can as soon as we can. Okay? All right, thank you.
If I can be a part of that.
You can, yes. All right, next is consent items. I have the following items. Pull C-28, pull and revise. C-42, withdrawal. C26, pull and revise.
Oh, I think I have your sheet. I don't recall which one it was, but Centennial Library needs to be
It's
correct.
C11. The district note is just wrong. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
District 3,
District
not District 4. It doesn't need to be pulled to do that.
You need to pull that, or?
No, sir. That's just
Okay.
on the, that's actually just on the agenda. That's not part of
All
the.
right, that's the pull items, but have a, entertain a motion for the rest of the items.
Approve the remainder of the consent agenda. Second.
A motion second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion passed. First is C28.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bramford Adumwa, Public Works Director. For item C28, the lump sum method was revised to not to exceed in the background summary in both the agenda memo and the task order document.
Move approval with a noted change.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passed. C42 has been withdrawn. C26, pull and revise.
Again, Bramford Adumwa, Director of Public Works. For C26, the reference was revised to PU 18-0062 and PW 18-0051 in the agenda memo.
Move approval with a noted change. Second.
Got a motion to move approval of changes, and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion passed. We'll go on to
R2. The R2 would be your first
all
one.
right, R2,
R1's time certain.
or,
R1's time certain, so you'd be R2.
oh, okay. Good morning, Ms. Hernandez.
Good morning, Commissioners. Denise Hernandez, Planning and Development. See if I can you bring it up for me? Sorry. So today before you is a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners establishing the terms of office for Planning Commission members and requiring an annual election of chairman and vice chairman. The reason why we're here today is that last year you adopted an ordinance that changed Section 200 of the Land Development Code. Basically, when the DRC was, the Planning Commission took over the DRC's responsibilities. So the Planning Commission's, during that time, we stated within the ordinance that in the future we would bring forward an ordinance, a resolution actually, stating what the terms of the Planning Commission members are. And just to remind you, on July 10th, you selected the following members: Chuck Gray, Kevin Ryman, Peter Hansel, Jamie Girardi, Michael Cox, and Roberto Size. So the tenure of the members, as we provided in, we considered the tenure of the members when we put this resolution together. And the following members' terms, Chuck Gray and Kevin Ryman, have been on the Planning Commission in some way, shape, and form for over 10 years. Mr. Hansel and Mr. Girardi have been on the Planning Commission for over, in some way, shape, and form for over 4 years. And Commissioner Cox and Roberto Size, less than 1 year. Missing some slides here, sorry about that. So the reason why we're bringing these terms over to you is because the initial terms are between 1 and 3 years in order to ensure that all members on the Planning Commission do not term out at once. The proposed resolution includes 2-year terms after the initial expiry of the initial staggered terms. The PC members may be reappointed. The members the vacancies are to be filled in the same manner as the original appointment, and it also provides an annual election of a chairman and a vice chairman. So what we proposed in the resolution is that the initial terms of Michael Cox and Roberto Size being 3 years, beginning August 9, 2018 to August 9, 2021. Mr. Girardi and Mr. Hansel, 2 years from August 9, 2018 to August 9, 2020. And Charles Gray and Kevin Ryman, 1 year from August 9, 2018 to August 9, 2019. After the initial staggered terms, member terms are to be for 2 years, as I stated, and they're eligible for reappointment no earlier than 90 days prior to the end of the term. I'm here for any questions on this, and we're asking that you adopt the resolution establishing the terms for Planning Commission members and the annual election of Planning Commission chairman and vice chairman.
Move approval.
Second.
I want to discuss. If we can, I have a problem moving the longest-term people on that, and the planning commission is new, and I understand that, but I have a problem moving the people that have been there the longest, that's been the strength of the planning commission prior to now, being moved to a one-year term, and possibly not being there in the future when we've just started this process and working with that. I don't know what y'all feel or how y'all feel about that, but to me, I wouldn't put you got your chairman and your vice chairman on one-year term, and I think they're somewhat of the backbone of okay?
Yeah,
Mr. Moore.
and I understand what your concern, Mr. Chairman. I mean, but we can reappoint them. They had to do something to stagger them, you know, there's.
Oh, I understand that.
No way around it. They have to do that. I mean, if we have the confidence, which I have confidence in those people too, we'll just reappoint them when the time comes.
All right.
I mean, you know what I mean? I mean,
Just reappoint them.
oh yeah, because.
Is there anything in the resolution
nothing
that
that
says we
hinders us
can't
from
reappoint the ones that are on there?
Oh, no, you
One
could
term?
definitely
Well, we
reappointment.
could
Yeah.
They're eligible
There's no
for
term on this.
reappointment.
Okay.
Yeah, they're eligible for reappointment. They just had to figure out a way
All
to do
right.
it.
Any other questions, or?
Just a question.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to stagger them in 2-year terms, aren't you going to have 4 of them up in?
So there will be a
2 and 1.
3, 2,
and
1, and then 2 after the initial.
But there's always, after 2 years, and you get,
There will be a time that 4 of them,
Four
you're
go, then
absolutely
2 go.
correct. There will be a time that 4 of them, I think in 2021, 4 of them will be
would you rather have that?
up.
Or I mean, pretty much, these guys, if they do a good job, they stay in the commission anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter that much, but I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Now I entertain a motion.
Yeah, so
it's only,
I think
we have
we're
a
in
motion,
discussion.
just got to call the motion.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a motion in the second already.
Okay.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passed.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. R3,
Joe Richards, County Attorney's Office. We brought this before you to revise the deed. You approved this sale back in June of last year, but we had to revise the easement to the cell tower site, which the county is retaining, to accommodate the buyer's plans, and they worked that out with the cell tower company. We also added language to remove any possible cloud on the title regarding the mineral rights, so we had asked you to approve the revised deed, and the closing will occur in the coming weeks.
questions?
Move approval then.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passed. R3, I guess. Or R4, excuse me.
Good morning, Kathy Pearson, Assistant County Administrator, Public Services. I want to start off by saying thank you to Paige Bramlett, who was our Community Development Director. He has decided to go back as a Performance Development Analyst, PDA position. So with that said, he did a tremendous job for us in the little over a year that he was with us, getting us through some tough audits. And so Paige, if you're listening, thank you so much. With that said, I want to introduce to you our, hopefully our new Community Development Director, Marcy Esberg. Marcy comes from us. She started with us October of 2018 as the current operation manager. Prior to that, she was with Burlington, Vermont as the Assistant Development Housing Director up there. She got wise, about 6 years she'd been up there, got wise and decided she wanted to come back to Florida, because prior to that, she was 15 years with Collier County. So her grandkids, she missed them dearly and wanted to come back to Florida, so we're glad she chose Pasco County. She does have a degree from Simmons College in Human Services, and that's in Boston, my hometown. And she received her bachelor's or her master's degree from Florida Gulf Coast, which is in Fort Myers. So with that said, I want to introduce Marcy. And with that, hopefully, you will respectfully confirm her as the new Development Director. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome, Marcy.
Good morning. For the record, Marcy Esberg, Community Development, and I look forward to serving the community and especially the low and moderate income families and individuals that make use of our programs. Having come from 2 different municipalities, I've learned one of the most important lessons, and that is to respect the core values of the community in which I'm working. So I look forward to meshing the programs that we have with homeless initiatives and neighborhood revitalization, affordable housing, and building community partnerships with the core values of Pasco County and being your Community Development Director. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Move approval?
Second?
Got a motion second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 And
All
welcome.
opposed?
Welcome.
Welcome to Pasco County. We're glad to have you. Okay. I think we're ready for. Old business. We're ready for old business. We have a time certain on R1, and that's at 11:30. Got a lot to talk about. To get there, so.
Yeah, over an hour, right? Oh, boy.
All right, Mr. Commissioner Moore.
Thank you. Just a couple things. If you didn't, I'm sure most of you already know it, but the PCPT is working with the Southeastern Guide Dogs and USF in the North Area Puppy Raisers Division to train puppies to assist owners with using the bus system. So they actually have 2 training sessions coming up. I think one's on March 16th at 10:30 a.m. And I know one of our staff members, I think is, right, Kathy's riding along and meeting with the trainers. I think they have like 4 to 6 puppies they're gonna start training. Is that correct? So I just thought it was pretty neat. It's something neat that should be brought up and let the community know about. I think the second one is going to be in June or July. They're gonna do it again, right, Kathy? To be determined, okay. I just thought it was something neat that we should bring up, and I wanted to mention that. The second one was, I think most of you know that we had the kickoff for the new brand, Florida Sports Coast, last week at TIA. It was an amazing turnout. I know every commissioner could be there because we had 2 events going on the same day. I think we had a ribbon cutting for the library.
Studio H.
Right.
That was a good event,
Yeah.
too.
Then we had this one too, but, you know, can't say enough about the team and Kathy's team. Adam and everybody within the tourism department has just done an excellent job, and that was a really, really nice event and kickoff. And they had folks that went around the airport throughout the day and let the people know coming off the planes what we're all about, what Pasco County is all about, and we're giving out information about Pasco County to the people departing off the plane. So it's a new day, it's a new era for Pasco County, and we look forward to great things to come.
Then, Mr. Chairman, one comment about that, too.
Okay.
We had a trickster that was out there as well, spinning was it a basketball?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a
You
Harlem
gotta
Globetrotter.
come back and do that for a commission meeting one of these times.
I was surprised I could still do it. It was funny when I walked up, I just started messing with the ball and started spinning. I said, wow, I still got it, right?
You did, man.
And then he gave it to Adam, and it went right into his face. Off his finger, right.
Adam needs to
That's right in
practice
the
more.
face.
Yeah, that's right. He said, Adam says I throw a ball.
right.
I don't bounce a ball or spin a ball.
I
He
was
throws
very
it.
impressed. He was able to spin it on his thumb, get it to go, drop it to his knee, kick it back up, and pick it and keep on spinning. And I'm glad ABC was there to cover the whole thing. It was
Mike
good
did
stuff.
it?
Yeah, he did. On TV.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. That was good stuff.
It was.
Good stuff.
But
can
the
still
event I
post
heard
up,
was
too.
very well attended. I heard there was over 100 people, I guess, or so.
There was a good amount. I don't know what the exact
Yeah.
amount of people was, but it was
Say
a
100
great,
people.
it was
Yeah.
a great crowd.
It was a good crowd for it. I
Lo-
couldn't be there. I was at the Hudson Library, so.
Yeah, a lot of good media attention, obviously.
That's great.
And then a lot of people from the community that are involved in tourism, plus just, you know, a lot of
Right.
other people from the chamber, et cetera.
Good
too.
stuff. Yes.
May I comment on that?
Yes, ma'am.
'Cause I was there, but
be part of your time.
interestingly, the night before, I was coming back from Washington DC, and the flight was full of because of a young men's hockey team. The little caps, so Washington Capitals, the little caps team. And there was also a female team. I don't remember what they were playing, but they were all heading to, well, I guess they were playing hockey too.
Center ice.
Yeah, they're all heading to center ice for a big tournament. I mean, the plane, every seat was taken. And most of it were from folks heading to Pasco County.
That's
So,
good,
That's
very
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And the biggest gear bags I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, those are big bags of gear.
Yeah.
Mr. Moore, is that everything you have today?
I have nothing else, sir, but thank you
Okay.
for that.
Commissioner Starkey?
I have a couple things here. I unfortunately don't have my papers from our legislative conference in Washington, so I can't go in depth on all those notes because I gave them to someone else to bring home and they haven't brought them to me yet. But it's a very successful conference. Interestingly, Kathy, you know, I'm vice chair of workforce, and our committee is workforce, economic development, and community is the HUD. Workforce is labor, and then we have, and economic development is commerce. So we always have those three departments coming in and talking to us. So we had the deputy or assistant secretary of HUD in. We also had Ben Carson in, but while he was presenting to our committee, and I asked a few questions, he said, "Oh, I just approved some money for Pasco County Friday." This was on Sunday, so that was awesome, and it's money for the purchase of homes in Elfers Parkway. So that whole project is continuing, and I'm really thankful for it. And we are advocating for more CDBG funds and workforce housing as well. So, but I'll talk about, I can't remember all the different notes I have, but I just wanted to be sure and share that with you. I also met with the Deputy Director of Department of Labor on Tuesday or Wednesday, and they said that they're doing some new grant writing rules and that AmSkills should be able to apply, because we haven't been able to compete for grants because of the way they write them. It has to go to an education institution. So I am always pounding on that. I'll be pounding on that in Tallahassee later today and tomorrow, that would let us compete. And so I think we'll see some good news there. So I have an ordinance that I wanted us to put in the pipeline to discuss. And it's actually an ordinance from Hillsborough County, but it has to do with massage parlors. And if you see all the problems that are occurring out there today with so-called massage parlors and bathhouses, I want to work on tightening up our rules and regulations. So I have the copy of Hillsborough's. We can send it to you all, and I know Christie's aware of this and others. And
Well, Elizabeth Blair
Yeah.
works with human trafficking.
Yeah.
And she should get a copy of that also.
yeah, so let's workshop this and strengthen up our rules, because I am starting to see them pop up in my district overnight. And
So you know, we really are working on that.
yeah,
And we've got national recognition for the work we do in human trafficking from our commission.
yeah,
And it's been real good.
yeah.
Can I ask a question? So is the thought to, when you say tighten up, make sure these are licensed massage therapists that are at these facilities?
Right.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't just call it a massage parlor if it's not licensed.
What we'll do, we'll carry this to
Individuals.
the Human Trafficking Board, the commission that we've all support.
Mm-hmm.
I'll carry it to them, and then we'll get a feedback of what we're doing based on that. I know we're tightening up a lot of things on that, so if we're not doing something, we'll address it, and then we'll bring that report back to you.
Yeah, and the city of Newport Richey is also working on theirs.
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if they are not a legitimate licensed massage parlor, that's a crime under state law. There's really nothing that you can do by local ordinance that would change that.
So that's already in place.
That's already in place. So there may be things that we need to do to the sexually oriented business ordinance that would make it easier to prove a violation, but my understanding is that the ones that are clearly operating outside state law the sheriff's office has under investigation.
And then we have the category of bathhouses, which I'm not sure what we've addressed in that new.
Right.
little
Well,
category.
we'll look at all and see.
Do you really? So I'd like to make sure that we're as stringent and tight on that as we can. On the way over here, I talked with one of my constituents, and actually last night I drove on his road. It's called Bayloff, and we don't have the road guys on our screen anymore, but the road is a non-county maintained road. The residents have, it's in Odessa. The residents have tried to get it, vote to have it come under the county, but there are a few people who want nothing to do with government, apparently, and won't vote yes. And I'm trying to,
There's more
I
than
don't know what the rules.
More than a few.
Huh?
Has to be over half of them voting against it.
Well, what he's telling me is it has to be 100%. And I don't know how you get
That's not,
100%.
that's not so.
Is it
I can tell you that's
private?
No,
not
this
so.
isn't a PVAS, because that's on a county maintained road.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
so the question is this a private road?
Yes,
Then it needs to be 100%,
gotta
because
be
you
100%
you
on
can't
private.
spend public funds on a private road. So
They
that's,
want-
Oh,
that's
that's
the
the
issue.
problem.
yes, and I understand that, but if the residents
I
want
didn't
to
understand
have the private road become a county maintained road, what, the vote has to be 100% of the people who touch that road?
You have to get 100% of the property owners of the fee underlying the road to dedicate it to you.
That's
So
a
who-
high bar.
That's
Is that
true,
it?
but that's private property.
And so
Or
you-
you have to initiate condemnation, which I wouldn't advise.
Okay. So,
The problem you
I
run
have a
into.
four-wheel drive car.
Yeah.
It was the worst road I've ever been on in my life. And it's kind of a collector road. If you pull it up, I don't know if you can pull that up on the map there. It is, a lot of other roads feed off of that road, and the other roads seem to be in better condition, but this one main road, I turned around, I was worried I was gonna just totally jack up all my
See, part of the issue,
alignment.
you not only have to get 100% to vote on it, but 100% have to give up right of way to be able to do a road
And I
like
think
that.
everyone is willing but 3 people. So, so they're stuck. And so, I know we have, in the past, done one-time fixes on private? No?
No, not on private.
Okay, so what do they do?
The private property owners need to repair and maintain their property.
They have to get together.
It's
and
an
do it.
issue between private property owners.
I don't think code enforcement's ever been back in there. It is,
Doesn't deal with
it is
code.
pretty crazy back there. I've never been back in that area, and I would liken it to Moon Lake and,
How do you
parts of Elfers Parkway back there.
What's the name of the road again? Baylock?
BALOUGH. It's, an interesting part of our county.
We'll have code go back there, but the road is a private road. The private
Yeah.
property owners need to maintain their property.
So the gentleman who was gonna speak here this morning, but I talked with him on the phone, he lives on a road that comes off of that road. So they maintain their road. And he said in the past, there were homeowners that pitched in, and this guy actually works in road maintenance, and so he could get one of those paw trucks, and they would bring in rocks, and they would spread it, but he said there's no one there willing to pitch in for that anymore. His wife is 7 months pregnant, and he thinks she's gonna have to go stay somewhere else, for the last 2 months of her pregnancy. I would imagine people aren't gonna be able to get to their homes here shortly, so I don't know what the solution is. I don't know how I can help them, but I'd like to help them. But if it's
We
100%, I don't think you'll get it. So
Private
then
property
That's an
issue.
people are not gonna be able to reach their
It's
homes.
a private property issue.
Private property, that's the,
So can residents sue a resident that won't? I mean,
I don't know the
It's a
answer.
civil matter between the property owners, yes. I mean, it's not
They can.
something that's the lifestyle they chose to engage in, really, by having a lot on a private road. You can keep everybody else out, but then it's your responsibility to maintain it.
And I'm sure they would never be able to sell their homes because you can't get to them. The side road folks won't be able to get to their roads to get to their homes.
All right.
So
Anything
y'all
else?
drive down that road and tell me
Anything
what you
else?
think.
Do you have anything else?
Yes. Lectures on the Lawn was a great success. We started off a little slow and I was getting nervous but it was an absolutely lovely night and I really appreciate the Parks Department for the good job that they did. And we will be, I don't have the date on the other one right now. I think it's April 20-something. But the next one is going to be history of the cattle ranching in the state of Florida. And many people don't know that Florida was the very first state to have cattle in the United States. So cattle ranching in America started here in Florida with cattle brought over from Spain. So that should be an interesting night. I've been following with interest Senator Fasano's letters on the tax collection, and I think those businesses are in my district. But I have a concern that the way we're doing it is following the BTRs. Because a few years ago, I went in and met with Senator Fasano and with Richard, and we were looking at economic development on US 19. And it was very apparent during our conversation that many businesses do not have a BTR. And while it's a requirement, we don't enforce it. So I would like to discuss some kind of mechanism where we do some kind of audit with sales tax numbers versus BTRs and make sure that everyone's got what they need to have in the county. Because there were more businesses on 19 than the total number of BTRs in the whole county at the time we had our meeting. So things were a little out of whack. And lastly, I'm going to Panama with Global Tampa Bay Sunday. And Karen Seal from Pinellas County and Les Miller from Hillsborough County are part of the public delegate. And I would love to take some of our stuff that we had out Sunday at your opening at the airport, whatever that was, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah.
It's all mushing together.
See what they got.
So if there's some things I can hand out, I will do that. I mean, I'm bringing economic development stuff, but why not hand out some of those?
Yeah, sounds great.
So,
It's good.
okay.
Is that
that's
it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Wells is out, so Commissioner Mariano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And while we're in DC, we did hit a few different meetings, and one of the ones we attended, Catherine and I together, was the large urban caucus, of which, matter of fact, someone from the White House in their chair actually called her out of the audience, recognizing her for being there, for doing a good job. Couple of things in that meeting there come out of opportunity zones, which were used to be enterprise zones. So I've already talked to Kathy. She's already working on some funding and some potential for the Habitat for Humanity project down in off Leisure Lane in Van Duren, which could be a great benefit for those that actually invest in these projects. As a great tax benefit for them. So I know we've had some private community people willing to step up, but now that there's actually a benefit to them as well, I think we may see them and more for other projects coming up. I was at a meeting with the USDA as well. We talked about the hemp market coming up, and they actually recommended we actually work with IFAS, possibly the 4-H Club, and take a look at some opportunities for them as well, as we try to take advantage of that market that could be good for us. On April 13th, 14th, CARES is running an event up at SunWest Park, the beach charity event where they color the chairs, auction them off. It was a very good success last year. And Gemma Roser, I think, sent myself and Commissioner Moore a bill as far as what the county was going to charge them for open air area rentals and staff time, which staff is pretty much going to be there as well. But I'm just wondering if maybe staff could take a look at that and see if we can waive those charges, or if I just get a motion for the board. I think it's $1,200 worth of charges. Every bit of those dollars is going to go into our seniors, so I'll just make a motion.
Second.
Can we get Okay. Have a
pay for
motion
those
and a
charges?
second. All of those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank
All
you.
opposed, like sign. Motion passed.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
At Studio H, when we had the ground, do you want to talk about that, or?
No, it's on
Okay.
Ballo. I didn't see this note, so I
Okay.
just need you to come back to me after.
All right. So in the ribbon cutting for Palm Coast, we had Studio H at Hudson Library, which was a tremendous facility. Those that like to play music and know the expense of actually getting recorded, and we've had so many great artists in this county grow up.
Yeah.
That now they can actually make it even easier from get recording done and actually market their wares as well as get a great experience, because all the equipment's top shelf, as the musicians tell me. So it should be a great experience. I think it got good attention, and in fact, ABC covered that one as well at the same time. So they did a real good job. Sean Daly was the one who was out there for that. Last thing, had a meeting last night at Country Club Estates. They're located just north of the Beacon Woods Walmart, where we got that project going, where we're gonna put the light in, the safety part on Beacon Woods Drive, and do everything connection. We're gonna work closely with staff to actually do a stormwater plan. They mentioned last night, as we talked before, I think about doing a sidewalk plan coordinated, and we're gonna go out there with them in probably within a month or two and kind of give them a full presentation of what we're gonna go do, but they were very pleased with that. So, that's all I have. Thank you.
Did you have something to add?
I need to go
Commissioner?
back to Ballo. I'm sorry, I missed this note from Branford. So Ballo is a B road, which means it's publicly dedicated but not accepted for county maintenance. We asked fire rescue to check for emergency access. They said they didn't find the road impassable, but they said that the road was passable. You bounce like a bouncy machine, but response time would definitely be slowed. And per the county's one-time fix policy and practice, and as the resident commissioner, they asked if I could bring it up to perform repairs on the road. If they will add lime rock and grade the road to improve its ride quality and performance. The estimated cost is $8,755. So I would ask the county to approve, ask the board to do this one-time fix on a road that is publicly dedicated.
Second.
If we could have the motion subject to review by either the county attorney's office or real estate to make sure that it is a public road.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Because-
did not
Because
see that.
that's inconsistent. Some of that information seems inconsistent.
And I haven't seen that, so yes, I think.
Mr.
we-
Mike, Byron, you
I
got
would just
something to
ask
add?
if we could take
Sure,
a firm
I'm
look
getting
at that.
those facts from Brantford.
Yes,
So-
very good.
But I'm fine for you to double check. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna
We'll
add that
take it
to your motion?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay with the seconder?
okay. Got a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passed.
It'll be a temporary fix for 'em.
Okay, that's it? That's all? Commissioner Stark, is there?
Yeah, on that.
Mr. Biles?
Just, I have just a couple items. The Area Agency on Aging for Pasco and Pinellas County is doing a survey for senior adults, and we'd asked the board the approval for the chair to write a letter of support for that survey.
Okay,
So
need a
moved.
motion for that? Motion? And a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passed.
So, and the other thing I have is, pull it up real quick, is good news. One of our animal services officers won the, make sure I get this right, the Florida Animal Control Association's Officer of the Year, John Douglas, in our animal services group. So just wanted to, recognize him. He's not here today. We'll do something formal a little later, but wanted the board to know that, you have great employees out there doing great things and getting recognized for it. So wanted to let you know we have a Officer of the Year.
Great.
So we'd like to make a resolution for that, so we can do
Yeah.
that.
So-
Yeah. From the
That's-
whole-
and that's all I
From the
have.
whole board?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Steinsteiner?
I don't have anything for the board today. Thank you.
Okay. Madam Clerk?
I do, thank you. So Passport Day is Saturday, March 16th. So we will be open on Saturday from 9 to 1, both in Newport Richey and Dade City, to help with those spring breakers, so they can get their passports a little easier for the family to all get together. And then I just wanted to mention, which I hadn't thought of, but we are going to use that studio for our jury orientation video that we're revising. So we're excited about partnering with the library
It's a
to
nice
get
facility.
that done.
It is.
Thank you.
Good. Anything else?
That's all,
it?
thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, I want to remind you, make sure you put this date down. Administrative Assistance Day is April the 24th. Please do not forget those people, because they help everything go the right way around here. So I know my assistant does. I know Catherine's very well. All of our assistants do a great job. So let's remember that date, April 24th. And I'll remind you again. Have my secretary remind you anyway. You have something to say?
At the end.
Oh, at the end. I have a letter here before me that, I guess, Ms. Starkey, you sent this letter out to, in behalf of Pasco County, Florida, in support of SB 22 or SB?
Senate Bill 20.
Oh, I think I sent it out on the
Senate
Monday.
Bill 22, no, 522. Senate Bill 522. The only thing is that you sent it out on behalf of the board, and the
I
board,
did? Oh, I'm sorry.
and the board did not vote
Right.
on it.
Does it, what is it?
Well, actually, we police ourselves, so we all, if we're gonna have something that goes out on behalf of the board, the chairman, whoever the chairman is at that
Can
point in
can I
time.
see a copy? I only read, I didn't see the letter, I only read the
It's
text
the
of the letter.
first sentence, so,
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, but this is the, this is what we voted on at FAC. I brought it up here, where apprenticeship, a registered apprenticeship program in the state of Florida should be able to compete for grant funding. That's what it is.
and that's what the
So
bill's.
we have
gonna-
talked about it here, but I agree, I didn't. The meeting is today at 1:30, so that's why we sent this letter out, so. I should have said just.
Well, to
from
correct
me.
this, I guess I need a motion saying that it's okay for her to send that letter out. I mean,
Approve,
after-
ratify, and
approve it.
confirm that the commissioner's letter regarding Senate Bill, whatever the
Yeah.
number was.
522, yeah. Okay,
You
that's
make a
your
motion, I'll
motion?
second it.
Yes.
I'll second it.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Yeah, it should
Motion
have just
passed.
said, it didn't need to say on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners.
Well,
I could have written it just underneath. Sorry.
and you could have
Although we
done
have approved it at FAC, and it's part of our
You
legislative
could have done
agenda
it-
for the year.
you could have done it just under your letterhead.
Yeah, that's what I'm
instead,
saying.
but-
And that's something I'll
Yeah,
instruct Michelle
just,
under.
you know, if it's something that, and it looks, I don't think it's important, so it's something we all need to be voting on and aware of, so, and I
Yeah.
know we're all care about M-Stills and things going the right way.
I agree, 100%, sorry.
With that, I will tell you this, the Hudson Library ribbon cutting was very nice. Pretty good turnout for that. The library is absolutely beautiful. Before now, I've only stood out in front with a sign, not being inside, but actually, when you go in, it's very pretty, and that sound room is just amazing, and the things they have in that library, so it's pretty amazing what our library system does, and all that staff, they do a lot of hard work and get there, so. Friends of the Library put a good bit of money into that to make that happen, so we gotta be thankful for all the Friends of the Library that helped out in that, so. And different libraries have different events. I think there's woodworking over on Collier at that library, so pretty neat. I hadn't seen it yet, but I'm going back to see that.
On the
Yes,
Hudson
sir.
Library, so, facilities did a lot of that work in-house too. So between the
Well, right, and
library,
all the facilities, all the
there was
staff
a,
that
there was
did
a
it.
lot of the team working on
Yeah.
that, so it
Eric
turned
sent
out
out a
great.
message to your guys we thank them for all the work they've been doing, so. But it's very noticeable, whatever meetings I go to, and I think y'all find the same way, the citizens, not only the departments like the public service and the building department, and the quarterly meetings I attended, last couple of weeks, the people are happy. Our employees are very happy. It's just amazing at the change, and that change, Mark gave us a report on that issue, and it's just happened in the last 2 or 3 years. But it's great. People like their jobs. Ask them how many like their job. They all raised their hand. They're our employees, and they were liking their job. It's fantastic we get that kind of response. But just keep in mind our employees and all, and thank them every time you get a chance. Plus, all of our, firefighters and our police, all first responders. Thank them for what they do for us. So, this doesn't go on just because of us. It goes on because of all the good people we have working for the county. We need to just remember that, so. All right, that's all I have, but
So I
we've
do
got
have
about
one more.
25 more minutes. I believe you can take up that time,
We can take
right?
a short break.
This will take 1 minute, I think, but I did
Okay.
want to share with you that I received word that the Florida Bicycle Association, it says, "The Florida Bicycle Association is pleased to announce you have been selected as our 2018 Elected Official Champion of the Year. Your efforts and achievements for bicyclists are shaping our vision for bicycling to be safe, accepted, and encouraged in Florida. Thank you." And they're going to come and present that to me when I tell them when. I was going to do it when we cut the ribbon for the Starkey Gap. That was going to be my thought, just to wrap it all together. But unfortunately, that's getting a little delayed. It's really wet out there, and there was a little hiccup with Florida Gas. And so we don't think the Starkey Gap will be done this summer. We think it's going to be in the fall. So I don't know if Ralph's in Tallahassee, but so we think that'll coincide with the fall Greenways and Trails Council meeting. So I probably won't wait then. So we'll probably have some kind of ceremony at a meeting in the near future. But I was really honored that they chose me. So
That's very good.
it's good for our county and all the efforts that we're doing with trails.
Yep. All right, anything else?
Break until
Come back in 20 minutes.
Come back in 20 minutes?
11:30 time start.
Yeah,
Yeah, recess until 11:30.
okay, take a break. All right, we'll take a break until 11:30 when we have that other R1. Thank you.
What changed on
We already took care
At
of it.
this time, I'd like to call the meeting back to order for time served. Is that a resolution? Is that there? Madam Clerk?
I saw her walk. There we are. Yeah. I
She's
saw
here.
him walk in. Sorry, I'm working on my commercial kitchen.
I brought my backup singers with me.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Kelly Mothershead, and I am the current chair for the Commission on the Status of Women for Pasco County. These are some of our other board members, and of course, Johanna back there is a huge
Yes,
help
does a
to
great
us.
job.
So we wanted to present our Commission on the Status of Women work program for 2019 to you this morning. So our role as members of this commission is an advisory capacity to the county commissioners, our community, and all agencies and persons in the county with respect to all matters that pertain to the status of women in our community. Our mission was established in 2018 to elevate the status of women in Pasco County through community collaboration. So in order to determine how best to fulfill our duties and our responsibilities, we engaged in a number of fact-finding initiatives this past year so that we could better understand the needs of women in our communities. So we've started with some community presentations, and we presented our top priorities to the commission last year. And based on those top priorities being education, health and wellness, economic prosperity, and safety and access to safety, our commission believes that these 4 focus areas influence the status of women in our community as a whole. So we began having community resource presentations, which started last month. We focused on education for our February presentations. So we had presentations by Dr. Timothy Beard, the president of Pasco Hernando State College. We had Kurt Browning, our superintendent of Pasco County Schools, gave a presentation, as well as Dr. Steve Noble, the executive director of the Early Learning Coalition of Pasco and Hernando counties. They're actually working on some surveys through the county for us as well. So we did find out through some of these presentations that, in addition, Steve Noble explained to us that the brain is the only organ that is not fully developed at birth, and 90% of critical brain development happens in the first 5 years of life, which is why we need to focus on early learning development as well. So our March presenters were on health and wellness. And in in April and May, we're going to have, May is our safety and access, and economic prosperity in April. So we have 3 presentations every month at our meetings, and we're asking them specific questions. So we've given the questions ahead of time so that they present to us exactly the things that we need to find out. We do promote it on social media as well as through all of our networks. So all of our presenters will have current issues, they'll have goals, and we are asking them for surveys or any kind of statistics they can give us. We want to make sure that we're addressing the needs of our community and not the needs that we think might be in our community.
Smart.
Yeah, so once the assessments and the needs are compiled in a report, the commission will work to gather the critical policy shaping feedback to better understand and address the issues of women in our community. The commission believes that these collaborative presentations aim to educate and empower women of all ages while discussing the important topics affecting the quality of life for Pasco County families. So these issues are far-ranging, therefore creating a stronger and larger network of resources to address these concerns and will enable the commission to bridge these gaps for the betterment of women in the community. So we want to collaborate with the organizations that already exist in our community and bring them together to better serve the needs of the women in our community and elevate the status of women.
So when you're discussing the economic development one, I was invited to a meeting of an organization where the women are all CEOs of million-dollar companies. And some of the women actually live here in Pasco County. And the meeting was in Hillsborough. And they asked me about the county policy on purchasing, if we had any kind of regulations that require a certain amount to go to women-owned businesses or minority-owned businesses. And my understanding is we're working on that, is what someone told me, but I'd like you, to bring up that question and maybe work with our staff to find out, get some statistics, how many of our contracts go to companies owned by women and what our policies are.
That's a great question because we do have economic prosperity coming up in April for our presentations, and so that's something we definitely would want to address.
Good.
For that.
Okay, sounds good. Any other
Wonderful.
questions?
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, hey, Kelly, if I could? At the NACO conference we just went to, they have a big program going for the first, I think, 3 years of life as well. There may be some avenues that I can share with you to kind of help you go along that line, because I think it's a great line. That's a new statistic, which I did know, that second part of the 90% of the brain in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
That's something new to me, so thank you.
Thanks.
Great job.
It says to approve. Do we need a motion on this to approve, or?
What do we approve, the
What are you
report?
approving, their work plan? I think Johanna, are they approving the work plan?
Okay, move to approve?
Second.
I got a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Hey,
passed.
Yana, I have a
Thank
question.
you.
Are you guys live streaming that? No. What do you, I don't know, talk about live streaming that, and then the good work. No, it's on Facebook. You just put your phone and you
Facebook
put it out Facebook Live. That's what I meant. Facebook Live.
Will do.
Okay,
Thank you for
because
the
we've
suggestion.
added the planning commission and the MPO to the contract to live stream this year. That was done this fiscal year.
Okay, I
So
meant
those are
live
happening.
stream.
I mean, if you want,
Facebook Live, sorry. I'm not technically with it.
okay. I mean, we could also look at, broadcasting it on Pasco TV if you'd like.
Okay, because, that.
That'd be more appropriate. I understand, Commissioner.
You know where
We
they
could-
meet?
But we're getting to the point we're gonna do every single meeting in the county, it's gonna cost us an arm and a leg. think
I don't know
you
what-
do the board meeting, you do the info meeting, and I think that's all you need to be doing.
Well, I don't know what the costs are.
Maybe
I don't
planning
know if
commission.
that,
Yes,
that
sir.
building has the capability. I wouldn't want you to go and add equipment for that meeting room. They meet, oh, you've moved now, right? You're at,
Library and Commons.
yeah, they're at the library now. I think
Okay.
Facebook Live is fine.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
But I think that would be good, if you could put it on an easel and, that's my
All right.
thoughts.
Anything else? Seeing nothing?
Lunchtime.
Well, this has nothing to do with this, so restate what you said what we're,
Currently, under the current contract, is board meetings, the MPO, and the planning commission.
right,
That's what we're doing.
okay.
Okay.
I thought you mentioned you added some other things too.
No, those MPO and the planning commission were ones we added this fiscal year. So you added those in fiscal year 19.
Yeah, I think we're good there, because we have some, you think about all the committees we have. There's
Well,
a ton of them.
And those are the ones that probably have the most public interest.
Yeah.
Because the development
Right.
through the planning commission, and then the MPO with the long-range transportation plan and the
And I agree.
transportation plan there.
'Cause
So
you
that,
start-
those, that's why we went there first.
Yeah, because then you start doing TDC, and then you start doing.
Yeah,
and then you
I'm
do-
perfectly comfortable where we are.
Okay, just want to make sure.
That's good. All right.
Mr. Chairman, on those
Yes.
same lines, did we work something out with the school district? I remember talking with them and working with them, and then we stopped talking about, are they gonna get on our
Well,
TV
there is a
channel?
cost involved, and I think we've made them aware of the cost. I don't
So they
know
haven't
what the
gotten
school
back to
district's,
us?
right, I don't know what the school district's plan is right now.
Okay. I always felt those should be televised myself.
That everything? With that, we'll adjourn for lunch, and then we'll come back at 1:30 for public
I
hearing.
got lunch. I got
All right,
a quick meeting with Bill.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call back to order the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners meeting of March 12th, 2019. I would like to remind everyone to please silence all electronic devices at this time. This is time for resolutions. Madam Clerk?
Is there anyone here? Yes, is there anyone here representing the poll workers? If you could come forward to the podium, please. Oh, and there's our Supervisor of Elections, Brian Corley.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And he's not asking for money today either.
Or giving us back any.
These are all the people who make you look good, Brian.
Yes.
Oh, I recognize some of them. I'm almost a poll worker in my own.
Did you want to read the resolution now or not?
Resolution number 19106, whereas freedom is best maintained and nurtured through the democratic process, the success of which requires a fair and open election, which accurately reflects the intent of the electorate. And whereas the Pasco County Supervisor of Elections has long relied upon poll workers who epitomize community service by assisting the Supervisor of Elections with elections administration. This includes attending training sessions to learn Election Day policies, procedures, and responsibilities to ensure that voting is administered in a fair, non-discriminatory, and transparent manner. And whereas these poll workers have enthusiastically assisted fellow citizens during the election process at the polling places on Election Day by performing many different duties to ensure accurate and trouble-free elections with timely results. Whereas the positions staffed by these outstanding individuals have traditionally included the following: precinct supervisor, voting system specialist, EVID operator, EVID specialist, ballot distributor, attendant, and poll deputy. And whereas these poll workers have remained willing, positive, and innovative throughout the many changes in elections procedures, policies, and voting equipment. And whereas poll workers have served as ambassadors of the Pasco County Supervisor of Elections Office and have contributed to the high integrity of elections that Pasco County is known for throughout the state and nation. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board commends the many citizens who serve as poll workers at polling stations throughout Pasco County for their outstanding service and dedication to the Pasco County Supervisor of Elections Office and the citizens of Pasco County. Done and resolved in regular session with the quorum present and voting this 12th day of March 2019, signed by the board.
Move for approval.
Second.
And a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Mr. Chairman,
All right,
point
welcome.
of personal privilege, if I may, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for honoring our poll workers. With us today, we have some tenured poll workers that represent East, Central, and West Pasco County. In essence, they're heroes, as you all know. You may recognize them from when you all voted. And these are just a sampling of our total of nearly 1,200 folks that help us run elections. 2018 was historic with 3 statewide recounts. The system was stress tested, but it held. One of the things that we do, and these folks will tell you, is we have a thing called Election Day prayer. We say, "Dear Lord, let the winners win big." And sometimes our prayers aren't always answered. But with like most things, there's blessings. And the blessing with this was during our recount and the intense scrutiny post-election day, it allowed us to showcase the professionalism of these men and women standing here behind me. And I'm convinced there's a special place in heaven for poll workers, clearly. In you all's service on the canvassing board, you get to see close up how we run elections, but you don't get to see the election day polling place, and that's where these folks come into play. Men and women who step up to serve, that give 110% and then some, all for the citizens, voters of Pasco County. So just want to thank them personally and thank you all for honoring them. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for being here, and thank each of you for your service in the polls, because without you, good elections don't happen. So,
Mr. Chairman?
it's been good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think we all probably want to say something. Well, yes, thank each and every one of you. As a group that's on the ballot, we definitely appreciate the integrity of that ballot. And obviously, I see you have some great leaders here, and Tiffany, which I've worked together with her for quite a few years now, and obviously Mr. Corley, the best supervisor election, I think we'll all agree, in the state of Florida, if not the nation. So always coming back first. But one of the reasons those numbers come back first in the state is because of all of you. And I'm sure you're aware that news stations, not just locally, but nationwide, look at Pasco County probably before they look at anywhere else, because you are so good at what you do, and you do get the numbers in quick. And we appreciate that, and we appreciate everything you do for the county. If without you, none of us would actually be able to sit here if it wasn't for you. So,
That's right.
and we're happy to represent you too, so thank you.
Thank you, and I would echo Commissioner Moore's words and just say I'm so proud of our office here, and yeah, I think you have a reputation nationwide, and again, we're just so proud of you and thankful for the good job that you guys do. Really represent us well.
Thank you, Commissioner Mariano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Supervisor Cooley, you've done a phenomenal job since taking office many years ago. You surround yourself with great people and smart enough to keep great people like Tiffany right in there every step of the way.
Amen. Amen.
Great work.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. I'll come down, we'll take a group picture.
Excellent.
Y'all join us?
Yeah.
Thank you all. I give this elbow bumps. I would even suggest a fist.
Would you like to hold this? We don't have them get down in front. Stand right there in the center, and y'all group up around him. We'll go back up behind and, thank you.
Just a 2 days. You gotta keep them straight here. Squeeze it in. All right. We're good with straight. Oakley, go to your, go that way a little bit.
Oh, why not? All right, we're good. Are you not in the picture?
Moore, you're supposed to be in blue. Didn't you get the memo?
I usually am.
Yeah, you're not using the light color.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Guys,
Hold on.
one more.
Not that easy.
Ralph's not here.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay.
Take care. Have a great one.
I'm sure we'll be talking soon. We get so lost without Tiffany.
Okay, what's our next one?
What's the next one?
Flood week.
Now we'll move to,
Hopefully, who has no floods.
Resolution 2.
Yep. Is there anyone here representing Flood Awareness Week? If you could come forward to the podium, please. I feel like this is not on.
I don't,
I feel like
these don't work?
The
or-
speakers aren't working.
We had
They're
some
not
flood
working.
this morning.
So
but-
you're recording, you're good.
I thought
You
they
just
were
have to-
working earlier. I guess you state it again, so I don't see anybody.
No, we got, this is,
Great, thank you.
All right.
Resolution number 19107, whereas Pasco County has experienced severe weather in the past in the form of extreme rainfall or tropical system events, resulting in flooding in coastal areas, and this flooding has caused damage and flood losses to homes and buildings in all areas, whether they are high-risk special flood hazard areas or low to moderate risk flood zones. And whereas the reduction of loss of life and property damage can be achieved when appropriate flood preparedness, control, and mitigation measures are taken before a flood. And whereas Pasco County is a voluntary participant in the National Flood Insurance Program that provides residents the opportunity to protect themselves against flood loss through the purchase of flood insurance at reduced insurance premium rates and allows higher regulatory standards to be established in the county to reduce the flood risk and potential flood damage to their property. And whereas because public education and awareness of potential weather hazards and methods of protection are critical to the health, safety, and welfare of residents, the Florida Floodplain Managers Association, FFMA, have declared the week of March 11th to the 15th, 2019 as Flood Awareness Week to promote awareness and increase knowledge of flood risk, the availability of flood insurance, flood protection methods, and how to prepare for emergencies. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby proclaims March 11th to the 15th, 2019 as Flood Awareness Week in Pasco County, and further encourages the citizens of Pasco County to increase their knowledge of how to protect themselves and their properties from flooding. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 12th day of March 2019, signed by the board.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Welcome.
Thank
If you
you.
want to say a few words, and then we'll come down and take pictures with the,
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Anthony Mastraccio, Deputy Building Official. Unfortunately, Esther Oliami, the building official, is at our ICC code hearings this week, so I am stepping in for her place. But, you know, we really appreciate the board's backing and the participation that's allowed in the flood prevention program. Through this program, as you, I'm sure, are aware, the community is rated at a 6 rating currently, which is a 20% savings to all of our citizens here in the county, which is averaging about $4 million currently. And the building department's in a full-blown push to lower that rating. So we are working diligently to get that lower for more of a savings to all of our citizens. And we appreciate the backing of the board.
thank you. Anyone want to speak?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say,
Yes.
Anthony, you've been with us for a little bit now, and you're doing an absolute phenomenal job, and I greatly appreciate all your great work you're doing. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I agree with
Thank you,
that.
Commissioner.
And I would say this is the first year that I've been elected that I didn't have water in someone's house. So, one of my constituents, so whatever we're doing, you know, I think we are improving the quality of life for our citizens, and I'm hopeful that this year will be the same, but thank God for last year and no water. Yeah.
it's probability based.
All right.
It's getting
Let's all
better.
join me down here. Let's have a
Yes, sir.
picture.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Okay, last resolution we have is Resolution 3.
Okay, the Resolution 3 is for Margaret Mercado. Are you here? Oh, if you come to the podium, please.
She has some other people with her.
She does. You want to bring your family up? She
Yeah.
has a lot of our
Finance
teammates
family.
as well.
Come on.
Yes, finance family. Resolution number 19108, whereas Margaret C. Mercado was hired August 1st, 1988 as a deputy clerk for the clerk of circuit court and county controller. And whereas during her career with the clerk and controller, Mrs. Mercado served as accounting clerk 2, lead purchase order clerk, clerk's finance accounting clerk, clerk's finance lead accounting clerk, operations lead, and operations supervisor. And whereas Mrs. Mercado's proficiency and knowledge in the performance of her duties in accounts payable and clerk's finance significantly contributed to the successful operations throughout the clerk and controller's office. And whereas Mrs. Mercado processed over 120,000 invoices, 100,000 journal entries, along with hundreds of thousands of other financial transactions, including the distribution of cash bonds, refunds, and restitutions. Mrs. Mercado processed and submitted court-related collections averaging $600,000 per month to the Florida Department of Revenue, identifying the distribution of these monies among 72 various trust funds and entities as prescribed by Florida statute. And whereas Mrs. Mercado has been a leader and an integral part of the planning, analyzing, assisting, and implementation of the fast-paced technological advancements experienced by the Clerk and Controller's Office, including the implementation of Clericus and Munis. And whereas Mrs. Mercado was influential in establishing the financial process for online foreclosures and tax deed sales that included the escrows and payments to facilitate a more efficient process for our internal and external customers. Whereas Mrs. Mercado is not known only for her diligence, but also for her outstanding cooking skills, which she has been utilizing during the office events and culinary contests, and is always requested to make Maggie's special Greek salad and chocolate cupcakes with vanilla frosting. And whereas Mrs. Mercado's dedication and dependability in the performance of her jobs makes her a valuable asset to the Office of the Clerk and Controller. Thank you very much. Whereas during her more than 30 years of service, Mrs. Mercado diligently and conscientiously served the citizens of Pasco County and customers of the Clerk and Controller in her positions, ensuring integrity while providing outstanding service. And whereas as of March 29th, 2019, Mrs. Mercado will retire from the Office of the Clerk and Controller to spend more time with her grandson, Jace. And the Board of County Commissioners and the Clerk and Controller deem it appropriate to recognize her contributions to both the customers of the Clerk and Controller's Office and the citizens of Pasco County. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners, Pasco County, Florida, in session duly assembled, that said board hereby expresses its deepest appreciation to Margaret C. Mercado for her more than 30 years of service to the citizens of Pasco County. I was doing so well, too. Done and resolved in regular session with the quorum present and voting this 12th day of March 2019, signed by the board.
Move for approval.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You can re-up, you know.
That's what I understand.
She's going to volunteer.
I'm going for volunteer status.
She is.
Okay, that's great. We need your help. That's wonderful.
It's just been the technology changes in the last 30 years. You know, it's been amazing, but it's just a great organization to work for. Thank you, Paula.
You have so many employees, Paula, that stay for 30 years. It's, I mean, that's a real
And more.
testament to all of
Yeah,
you, that
that's
you have a
good.
great work environment and a
Right.
good leader, but there must be something that keeps you all there for that long.
Well, it's the family.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I
That's a
spend more
family.
time with these people than I do my own family. So it's a good work environment, and, you know, I'm sad to go. You know, I've been in finance my whole 30 years. I'm not going to miss the actual work. I'm going to miss the people.
Yeah, we understand.
Well, when I first met Maggie, she worked for the board, for the clerk, and I worked for the board, and she always would, you know, like send things back to me if we did them wrong. And so then when I went to the work for the clerk, it was great because, you know, she was still doing board work. Then we transfer her to clerk work. So, but she keeps everybody straight, and we're going to miss that. But thank you very much,
Well, with
Maggie.
her volunteer service, I'm sure
Yep.
she can lend a hand help train those new ones that come on, so.
And she's trained some
Yep.
good
That'll make them
teammates.
stay 30 years too, so.
Well,
Which is
can
a
you
good
join
thing.
me down there to present this to her?
Will do.
Almost.
You bring any cupcakes?
No.
You gotta order again.
Can we get the finance crew?
If I had prepared, I could have brought lunch, the Greek salad and cupcakes.
We were open for that.
Yeah. We already had it last week.
Maybe move back? Especially. A lot of people, yeah.
Okay, good. We yell at him when he stands on chairs.
Well, yeah.
See, now that we push this stuff out, they wouldn't come in before meetings.
Yeah.
Hold that start.
We got it.
Don't take, it'll be
Good. 1, 2, 3. Everybody's eyes are open. Everybody's eyes are open. Thank you very much.
Yes, it is.
Hey, how are you?
I'll send you.
Paul, leaving now? Or you guys have a little party or something? Hey. Hey, Clark. We'll tell Clark to make sure he send the bill to Paula, not to the board.
Now we'll move to.
Don't forget the ladder. Mr. Administrator?
Let's just call for the vote.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was just gonna make sure that Hobby and Hobby
No,
sent the
thank
clerk the bill for that support, not the Board of County Commissioners.
Now we will proceed with public hearing agenda, starting with item P1, ordinances.
This particular item was published for hearing at this time in the Tampa Bay Times on January 18th of 2019.
Okay.
Read by title?
Not working here.
Oh, is it read by title? Or he's
Yeah, well,
It's an ordinance.
if the clerk would like to read the title for Mr.
Can we
Monaco,
just
that,
go ahead and
that'll
vote?
work.
I can go fast. I can go real fast if you like.
Go fast.
Okay. This is an adoption hearing and an ordinance amending the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan, providing for a large-scale comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use maps, map 215 and sheet 11, changing from AG/R agricultural rural commercial conservation lands, IL industrial light, MU mixed use, and Res 3 residential 3 to PD planning development on approximately 6951.1 acres of real property located south of SR State Road 52 and east of the Suncoast Parkway, and a text amendment creating subarea policy FLU 7.1.43, Project Arthur, and a map amendment to the future land use map 2-9, adding subarea map 2-943, Project Arthur, and a map amendment to the Highway Vision Plan map 7-36, providing for repealer, severability, and an effective date. And here's a location here at 52 Suncoast. And what's important is the CSX Railway on the east side. We've seen some of these slides before, so I'm going to go quickly if I can get this. This is the existing future land use. You'll see a lot of mixed-use development there. This is the surrounding property. You've seen these before. Project Arthur exemplifies the county's goals for central market area, creates a thriving, interconnected community. Residents can live, work, and play. The ULR report back in 2008 for the central market area specifically called for the location of mixed uses along 52 and the Suncoast and major intersections for higher density, compact development to preserve open space, the enhancement of ecological areas, and a strong mix of uses. Right now, the proposed future land use, there is an existing future land use that already allows almost 12,000 residential units. There will be no change in that whatsoever. It is really, the change is really the non-residential uses, and we're basically a net increase of about 19 million square feet of employment-generating land uses and a proposed corporate business park on parcel B. Okay, just quickly, the policies that were come up with were innovation, technology, promoting use of advanced technology, and sustainability because there's ecological corridors and wetlands in that area. Feasibility analysis was done. There's adequate capacity of utilities. Transportation needs assessment is exempt, and police, fire, schools assessment, as well as ecological corridors, the actual width, are going to be all done in the MPUD stage. It's coming up in a few weeks. The vision map changes include segment 1. You see that in blue. This changed from a collector to an arterial road. Segment 2 was relocated further west towards 52 and connected to Sun Lake Boulevard further south. And segment 3 is to be removed. So we're asking for that. Oops, hang on a second. I'm going too quick. The comprehensive plan at the range of uses is consistent with the intent of the plan development future land use. November 29th, the LPA unanimously recommended approval for the amendments, the sub-area policies, and the internal road network revisions to the highway vision map. On December 11th, the BCC unanimously authorized the transmittal to the DEO. On January 23rd, the DEO indicated the project would undergo the state coordinated review. And on February 25th, we received the DEO recommendations and comments identifying comp plan policies to consider. As a result of that, 2 policies are also added. You have those in your packet, but I'd like to read them into the record. They're natural resource policies, policy NRC 58, section 9, the implement objective conservation 1.2 critical linkages of the conservation element of the comprehensive plan as amended. Ecological corridors in section 804 of the LDC have the same meaning as critical linkages in the comprehensive plan. Establishment of the specific boundaries for the North Pasco to Crossbar and Starkey to Connerton ecological corridors within Project Arthur shall be addressed through section 804 and ecological corridor application and or the MPUD zoning application. And again, you'll be seeing that in a few weeks, the actual implementation of that. And the second policy, NRC 5.9, section 9, to encourage on-site wetland and protected listed species mitigation within the ecological corridor. The Project Arthur subarea shall encourage on-site protected listed species relocation and mitigation, as well as on-site mitigation, creation, preservation, enhancement, or restoration within the ecological corridor. And I'd like to just thank Keith and his team of Natural Resources for helping us get through that. They did a lot of great work for us. The recommendation is for approval of this amendment and adopt by roll call vote. It's the proposed large-scale comp plan amendment, Flume Map 215, sheet 11, to the plan development delineation. Text amendment creating sub-area policy Flu 7.1.43. The future land use map amendment, sub-area map 2.943, and an amendment to the highway vision plan map 7-36. It's a great project.
That was pretty quick, but we thought it'd be half that.
I know you guys are going quickly when it's up to the state today, so I want to.
As a public hearing, do we have anyone to speak to this item?
I had a question for staff.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make, is the word trails in here anywhere? Because there are some very important trails coming through in that area, and I just want to, apparently, I thought we'd adopted the policy that developments needed to connect to the master trail spine, but Ross is telling me we haven't. So I just want to make sure that that language gets in here.
Yes. There's actually 2 ecological corridors that are large. We're working out now the width of those, and we have requested that there actually will be trails going through that as well, probably on the edges, though.
Yes, on the edges.
We are definitely.
Mr. Chairman, this
Just a
is a
minute.
comprehensive plan amendment, so
Okay,
that
so not in
would,
the-
so
that would be
you,
next.
you have that opportunity to have that discussion at the MPUD stage.
Okay.
I think we decided.
Well, that's a warning shot across the back.
We take it and receive it and run with it.
Okay.
I thought we decided there wasn't going to be bikes allowed.
Oh, no.
Is there a
Golf
sign-up sheet up
carts,
there
no
on the
bikes,
podium?
Golf carts.
Ernie, is there a sign-up sheet
I
there or
don't
not?
see one, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I see. There's not one, okay. I guess the applicant's here, or?
I'll speak loudly since I understand the mic's not
Okay.
working. Clark Hobby, Hobby and Hobby PA, 109 North Brush Street. Don't have a lot to offer, but I did want to thank your staff, Dan, and in particular, these are the folks who've spent the most time on this. Dan has been heavily involved in the project. Ernie, Amy Heiler, David, and Brad have worked with us countlessly to get to this point. We have a lot of work left to do, but this is a big first step. We appreciate your support and happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second by roll call vote.
District 2, Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Wells is not here. District 5, Commissioner Mariano.
Aye.
District 1, Chairman Oakley.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay.
Yeah, can you
Move
tee it
to
up? Thank you.
P2.
Mr. Chairman, and members of the board, this item was published for hearing at this time in the Tampa Bay Times on February 8th of this year. Okay.
Good afternoon, board members. Denise Hernandez, Planning and Development. I'll read the item by title, but I'll also let you know that today is the first reading on this item. So after the presentation, we are asking that you accept public comment, and there's no action required on the item. This is scheduled for adoption, the second hearing, on March 29th, 2019. 2019 at 1:30 in Newport Richey. So this is an ordinance by the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners amending the Pasco County Land Development Code, Section 1001.4, Visibility, 1001.5, Navigability and Protection of Water Courses, Appendix A definitions, and other sections as necessary for internal consistency, providing for applicability, repealer, providing for severability, inclusion into the Land Development Code, and an effective date. So telling the Pasco County Docks and Seawall story, on March 27, 2007, the Board of County Commissioners adopted Ordinance 0706, which amended the Pasco County Code of Ordinances relating to obstruction of navigability and protection of the county waterways. In 2010, the Board of County Commissioners amended that ordinance to prohibit roofs, walls, enclosures, or other similar visual obstructions on docks. On January 1st, said ordinance was brought into the Land Development Code through the restated Land Development Code. In 2017, there were board workshop was held on docks. There was a direction at that workshop to move forward with an ordinance allowing roofs and similar coverings over docks on privately owned lakes. Over the past year, there were other items that had to be changed to Section 1001, Docks and Seawalls. Those items were discussed by the Board of County Commissioners. And on February 5th, 2019, the County Attorney's Office brought forward an introduction ordinance to the Board of County Commissioners, which amended Section 1001 visibility to allow roofs, walls, and enclosures to be constructed over docks on privately owned inland lakes. Also to allow additional projection and location of docks and seawalls, to allow more of the canal to be used on a dock in the situation of a dead-end canal where there is not a different property owner at the end of the waterway. Additionally, some changes to definitions to define or actually redefine the mean high water line and what waterfront property is. There will be a separate amendment to the Pasco County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, Article 3, Section 18-36, to clarify that there are permitting requirements for docks, seawalls, and associated equipments, and that's being brought to the Board of County Commissioners separately on the 26th of March, 2019, and that's just a change to the Code of Ordinances, so it doesn't have to go to the local planning agency. Additionally, there will be, at that same time, March 26th, there will be an amendment to Chapter 114 Waterways to discuss maintenance of docks and seawalls. So on February 5th, with the introduction ordinance that was brought to the Board of County Commissioners, the Board of County Commissioners directed the Planning and Development Department to go ahead and schedule public hearings to adopt said changes. So the first public hearing was for the local planning agency on February 21st, 2019, and the local planning agency found the proposed amendments consisted with a comprehensive plan and recommended approval to the BCC. However, there were a few changes that the local planning agency requested that staff take into consideration. One of them is 1001.4 visibility to increase the height limit, maximum of 15 feet of a boat lift above the mean high water mark. The second one was 1001.5, maximum projection and location of docks and seawalls, to add this specific section to state or other qualified individual to the list of the criterion, and a change to Appendix A definitions, to change the definition of the mean high water line to state that it's as shown by a professional surveyor or mapper. The Planning and Development Department went back and took a look at what other coastal communities are doing in terms of visibility, the height above the mean high water mark for a boat lift. And this was the 15 feet, which is in the Land Development Code. It was not a section that was being proposed for changing. That is consistent throughout the state of Florida in coastal communities. So we are recommending that that change not be made. The change requested to 1001.5 to add to add or other qualified individual, we are recommending that that be changed. As it's currently written, just an engineering certification is required, and what if there's another qualified individual that can make that same certification? We're fine with that change. Additionally, the change to Appendix A definitions, and Mr. Richards is here to discuss that. However, we are requesting that the change be kept because that is similar to what the Florida Department of Environmental Protection has as their definition, and we want to keep that consistent with that. Again, we're here for any questions. This is just the first reading on the item, so I'm here with any questions you may have.
Well, this is a public hearing, and no one has signed up for this item, but if there's anyone in the audience that would like to come and speak to this item, we'd like them to come forward at this time. Seeing no one, anyone have any questions?
Nope.
There's no action required. You want-
Yeah, I just want to bring up a little conversation I've had with staff as well as a local vendor here that's actually bought a franchise a few years ago to put in temporary structures, is what they're called, over the boat lifts. I've actually just sent a picture to Dan, if you can pull it up. Is it over there? Okay.
It may take a little bit to get it.
The structures here, they will actually protect the boats, kind of like what we're trying to do. And I'm not saying just limited to that either. I still think anyone should be able to protect their boat living in a canal as well as a lake. But the structures are secured to up to 170, 180 miles per hour, which was a concern. So with that safety concern, I'm going to say that a lot of people still on the coast are still going to want to see, being able to protect it. And maybe there's a thing to do such as we do with traffic calming devices, if we need to kind of like isolate some areas to make sure there's full support where some areas may not want to have it. We have traffic calming devices, we have to have I think it's 65% approval of the area to get something to go forward. Maybe something like that along a canal, but like I said, when we get to the other side, you'll see more people. Some people did oppose it at the planning commission, but kind of like went away from it. But there's a picture of one right there, that particular structure that covers a boat. Instead of getting water inside it and ruining it, it protects it.
Well, water doesn't ruin a boat unless,
Sun
shouldn't.
does.
Oh, the sun.
The sun does.
Called the
That's the
sun.
problem.
I will say, I went back after our last workshop and met with Gulf Harbor Civic Association, Homeowners Association. They're adamantly opposed to roofs that will block people's views, and also met with Sea Forest in that neighborhood, and they actually have in their deed restrictions that you can't put a roof over a boat. So I think you'll see a lot of opposition to that as well.
And again, for the Gulf Harbors area, I'm not debating that's how they feel and not questioning it. I don't even
Right.
want to affect that. But if there's some way we can actually take it for the people in an area that vote that they want to have it of some sort, like a traffic calming device.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
A traffic calming device is a special assessment process that we're doing the work. That's why you have a vote of the neighborhood. This is a regulatory action, and you really can't legislate that way through your land development codes. I don't know of a way to do that other than to have overlay districts. And frankly, I'm not sure that you could we have drawn the distinction that the board asked us to draw between inland water bodies and coastal water bodies for this. I'm not sure that we could draw a distinction between Gulf Harbors and some other coastal community. I have no, I mean, it's a policy decision for the board. Whether they're roofs or whether they're covers is not in my bailiwick to give you an opinion about. But trying to do the ordinance as defensively as possible, I think you've got to make the decision about, is all the coast going to be under the same regulation or not? I don't know that you can do, if the neighborhood wants it, we can change the land development code.
Okay. Further discussion on that?
I think we'll wait for the other side.
Yep.
Well, can I?
Yes, Mr. Moore.
And I appreciate you, people talking to you, reaching out. Since there is some opposition to that, we don't have opposition coming out or discussing the roofs on the lakes. So again, like I said before, what I don't want to do is throw a bunch more into this, and then we have such a debate that it kills it when we have this moving forward. So my thought is, bring that back after some time, and maybe if you want to look at an amendment, that could be done. I just want to make sure we get this through and through smoothly, this portion, because as we know, there's not opposition on the lakes at all. We haven't had one person oppose that, not a one. And what we have is a very large majority that want it. We start merging the two, we might end up with a problem.
Well, and again, I fully support what we've got on here on paper, but, and I don't want to interfere with the Gulf Harbor's view as far as how they want to protect themselves. And I will tell you, we had this struggle years ago trying to make the same thing happen, so I don't know how it'll play to the other side as far as still wanting to be able to protect their boats, but at least we'll have the discussion on the other side.
Yep.
And I want to make sure the commissioner got his question answered. So the decision was made between planning and development and the county attorney's office that to segment out the seawall maintenance section into the code of ordinances, just because it became evident it was more of a maintenance, not a land development, not a regulatory land development code issue, but a code of ordinance issue. And so it's going to catch up with it
And I'm
at the
comfortable-
final hearing.
Yeah, and I'm comfortable with that.
There'll be two ordinances brought to you at the final hearing.
Yeah, I appreciate it, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, there's no action required, so thank you for the report.
You're welcome.
And the next public hearing you announced, but
March 26, 2019, 1:30, Newport Richie.
Need a
Thank
motion
you.
to continue?
Okay.
no,
No.
it's not
That's
continued.
that's the adoption.
They're separate
Oh,
public hearings. I was-
The adoption.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the next item. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next item is P3. We have,
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you do have proof of publication for the hearing of this matter at this time in the Tampa Bay Times on January 25th of 2019.
This is what we need a motion. Need a motion to
Okay.
continue to March 28th,
Second.
2019.
Well, hold on a second. This is the one.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one.
19.
No, it's
Miss-
advertised for a
March
continuance.
26, 2019. Yes.
right, okay?
Mr. Chairman, if I could?
Yes.
Before we go forward with this, it's my understanding that the applicant is going to withdraw the request for IH and instead proceed with an MPUD rezoning under existing EC land use. I know that this will address many of the concerns with heavy industrial, but I also do not want this to see the delay of the applicant's ability to get the site certified by PEDC. So I'd like to make a motion to direct staff to expedite the EC MPUD rezoning for this project, as well as the comprehensive plan text amendment that is needed for the rezoning to proceed.
Second.
Yep, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Well,
Oh,
procedurally, which ones,
Okay, so I'll withdraw my motion to continue and second Commissioner Mariano's motion.
Could I understand again what you're trying to do?
There's a big objection with the heavy industrial part of the zoning.
Right.
This
I
resolves all that.
just spoke with the landowner
It-
to the south.
Okay. Denise, you want to, you can go explore.
Sure, I'll speak a little bit on it. So basically, as Commissioner Mariano stated, there's objections to the IH. So basically, what's being proposed is to make a modification to the comprehensive plan to add some items into the sub-area policy for the Central Pasco Employment Village, and then proceed with an EC MPUD that would specifically list the uses within that area and limit the uses and not have those very, very heavy industrial uses. So I believe the motion is to expedite that process.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it'll eliminate some of the IH,
So the applicant, if
fracking.
I'm not incorrect in stating this,
Blue
the applicant
fragments.
will be withdrawing subsequently the request for an IH.
So Commissioner Mariano's motion is basically that if they come in with the EC MPUD, it be expedited.
That's it.
Correct. And so that's what they currently, their future land use is currently that right now. They could come in with an MPUD right now and do that.
And why are we putting this in front of other projects that are in the pipeline?
Because
It was already set, it was already here.
they've already been here, yeah, they're
They're
already
gonna
working on it.
make, this project's gonna become a ground-ready project.
What?
Pad-ready.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead.
Nectario Spitos with the Planning and Development Department. The project, the project has already been in progress. And so it's not necessarily the case that it's going to jump ahead. It's already ahead of some other projects in terms of where it's at in the overall review process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just if you've looked at the map of this project, I think the Orange Belt Trail comes right down the bottom of it, and I heard all the trees have been taken out that would have been shading that trail already. Is there a road coming down?
Talking about Route.
Is there a Vision Road?
There is a
on-
Vision Road.
It's Tower?
I'm not sure that it's Tower, but this is a Vision Road that's particular to the Central Pasco Employment Village, which runs parallel to 52. And that's essentially along the southern hypotenuse, if you will, of that development area. And we've had discussions with the applicant with regard to the Orange Trail, and we will be handling that during the MPUD review phase of the project.
Yeah, and I hate that trees are being taken down that could have made that, that should be a world-class trail, and we need to, of course, we have property rights, but it's a little short-sighted to take those trees down on the.
They've already taken those trees down?
Yeah.
Is that right? Do you know?
I would defer, I haven't seen them specifically, but I
I've
have
been
heard
by,
the
but I
same.
haven't noticed the trees being taken.
I have
Yeah.
heard the same, yeah.
Okay.
The answer is I did hear the trees on the.
You have to go to the
Yeah, come to, and state your name and address,
This
please.
discussion.
George Southworth, 3092 Gulf Wind Circle, Hernando Beach, Florida.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can I address your question?
The question's about the trees on that.
On the southern
that
end of
trail.
the property?
Southern edge?
The southern edge of the property is an old railroad right-of-way.
Right.
And there were multiple fence lines in there, and there were a lot of trees. And right now, that's currently a pasture. So I did clear some of the trees along that corridor, that old railroad right-of-way, so that I could move and get the thing properly fenced along the neighbor's property and improve the pasture in that area.
So, but, those were oak trees, right? Oak
There-
trees?
There were oak trees. A lot of them were about half dead because they were growing in the water itself. It's so wet back there.
Okay.
We've also tried to
Yeah.
open that up, the ditches that were originally there, to some culverts and get them to drain.
Uh-oh.
So it's just, it was a mess back there.
Okay. Just, the county has, on the state opportunity map, a very, very important trail that goes from Trinity to the Withlacoochee Trail, and it's following the old railroad path, which is the same path that the Pinellas Trail is on, that was the Orange Belt Railroad line. And I know in the past, this county auctioned off some of that railroad right-of-way, unfortunately, but we still have it on our plans to bring that trail through. So I'm sure as they go through the development, that will come up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 100% okay with the trail. And not only that, but I also own another piece of the railroad right-of-way that goes from Bellamy Brothers all the way up to Rice Road.
Okay.
So I'm happy to donate whatever it takes to allow your trail to come along. I think the Vision Road it would come along in the right-of-way of Division Road for a good chunk of it across the back of the current property rezoning, but I'd be happy to let it extend all the way on up the railroad right-of-way to Rice Road.
Great.
Yeah.
And it'll be such a great asset to the county and good for economic development and good for alternative modes of travel and great for the public. So thank you
Yep.
very much.
It'll be good.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
I
sir.
actually did bring that subject up. We had our meeting yesterday, and I did mention that may come forward.
Okay. Very good. Everyone got the questions answered?
Yep.
So that's continued? That's-
No,
you're
no,
right.
you,
Oh,
you,
we got something else.
You
Oh, we
just
got
call
the motion.
Yeah.
Got a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll call?
no, this is not roll call.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passed.
Okay, so you took them, you had the motion that Commissioner Mariano put on the floor. You still need a motion to continue.
Oh,
So we need another motion to continue.
You need the motion to continue
Move to
because they haven't
continue.
withdrawn as of today.
yeah.
Move to continue.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to continue. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passed. Okay. Go to P4 and proof.
Chairman and members of the commission, we do have proof of publication for hearing of this matter at this time.
Okay?
Good
In the
afternoon,
Tampa
Planning
Bay
and Development, Denise Hernandez.
Yeah.
So on this item, PDD 19-0575, we're asking you to authorize transmittal of the proposed large-scale comprehensive plan amendment to the Department of Economic Opportunity and other reviewing agencies. I'll read the item. It's a large-scale comprehensive plan amendment, CPAL 1909, Project Canopy, transmittal of proposed large-scale comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use maps 2-15 and sheet 20, changing from ROR, retail office residential, to PD, plan development on approximately 72.6 acres of real property located southwest of the intersection of Sun Lake Boulevard and State Road 54 rather, and a text amendment to sub-area policy, future land use 7.1.1, Long Lake Ranch, and an amendment to the future land use sub-area map 2-94.
Okay, I have no one signed up for this item. Anyone here?
Applicant,
Oh, you're not through?
applicant's presentation
Okay.
first.
Oh, this is just a transmittal?
Oh, it's-
It's on consent?
So this is
It's
in my
on consent.
district,
Okay.
so I will be happy to make the motion to approve.
Got a
So is
motion.
there, so,
Now public
I'm
hearing.
sorry, I screwed this up. So is there anybody here to object to P4, the large-scale plan amendment for Project
consent.
Canopy? Seeing none, leave it on consent. If your motion is on the floor, you can take a vote.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Move on to P5.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, you have proof of publication of this matter for hearing at this time in the Tampa Bay Times on February 6th of this year.
Is the Caldwell Public Works, and this is PVAS project found by our place, PVAS number 3338. There's one street involved here. It's county maintained and paved. The total estimated project cost is $45,300. The maximum cost per ERU is $4,000. The discounted amount is $8,325, and the maximum ERU with the discount is $3,260. There were 12 possible votes.
Real quick, Mr. Ainsley, I'm just trying to save you some time. I don't see one person in the audience. If there's not, I say we move ahead with, and I'll make a motion to approve. If there's nobody here.
Second.
Well, he's gonna call.
you gotta do a
for
public
Public comment
Call for
first.
public. If you don't mind, if you're okay with
No,
that.
no, I'm
yeah.
good.
Call for public comment, and then if there's nobody here, we'll
Yeah.
make a
Okay.
motion.
Is anyone here to speak to this item?
See no one, move for
Seeing
approval.
no one?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passed. At this time, the clerk has a clarification on another.
I just want to, for the record, clarify the record as it relates to notice of proof of publication on PDD 190573, item P1 in the agenda. To clarify, that was noticed for a previous meeting, which was continued to this date as opposed to the publication being for this date. Just want to clarify what I said.
Okay. All right. That's it. Anyone have anything else?
The addendums were all taken care of on your consent agenda?
That, yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Seeing nothing, meeting adjourned.
Safe travels.
Ms. Yates?